Hey there, Nick Hoover with Sageline Media. You know, a question we get asked a lot when we're looking at analytics is what's the difference between a user and a session? And you know, really, that's a really good question because on the surface, you would think that they would be the same, right? A user comes to your website, they begin a session by looking at your content and interacting with your website. So in theory, you'd think those two numbers would be the same, but when you get into your analytics and you look, and right there on the very first page, you can see there are two different numbers. The sessions are typically always higher than the users. And why is that? Well, today we thought we'd kind of put together a quick little video and show you what the difference really is. And to do that, we thought we'd tie up a quick woolly bugger here. So I'm just going to try to kind of tie this thin mint woolly bugger. And totally hack it here, but really the goal of the video is to kind of show you the difference and talk a little bit about sessions and users, and really it all comes down to the time that a user is on your website. And if you think of your user, if you think of the session as a container that manages the user, you'll get a long way to really kind of understanding what the difference is. So we're going to work on this fly here, and let me just grab some Flashabou. Oh man, looks like I'm out of Flashabou. Let's head over to the fly shop and pick some up, and we'll come back and finish this fly up. All right, we just ran over to the fly shop. We grabbed our missing Flashabou. Now, assuming the fly shop is your website, right? So as we walked in the door, we would have counted as one user, one session. That's how analytics would have looked at us. We walked in the door, we browsed around the website, we browsed around the store. We're one user, one session. Now, how many times has this happened to you, right? You're in the fly shop, you're talking to the guys, sharing your favorite fishing story, the big ones you just caught. You get back out to the car, ah crap, you totally forgot something you were supposed to buy. So we're gonna head back in the fly shop, grab what we needed, come back to the car, and we'll see how that might impact your analytics and your sessions and users. All right, so I just ran into the store. It's been less than a half an hour since I went back into the store and I got my missing chenille. Now, what do you think? Is Google gonna view that as two users, two sessions, or what? Actually, they're not. It's just still going to be part of that first user, first session because we were in there within a half an hour. So if you remember that parent session that we talked about, where that kind of controls all of the interactions of the user, since we went back into the store / your website within a half an hour, Google's going to look at that as that same user, same session. So when we get back to the shop and finish up this fly, we'll kind of look at why there is the difference. What's the difference between having two users, or excuse me, one user and two sessions, and it all has to do with that half an hour. All right, we're back at the office. Just gonna kind of finish up this fly. So Google will count, like I said before, Google's gonna count the session and the user based on the time that the interaction happened. So since we went back into the fly shop within a half an hour, Google will only track that as one user, one session. So what about the times when you have the same user but more than one session? You've got two sessions. Like, what can initiate that? So let's say you land on a website and you head out for lunch and you come back to the website. It's been more than a half an hour. Now you're one user, but you have more than one session. So that's one spot that discrepancy can happen. Or another spot could be you go to a website. It's after like 11:20, right? You spend 40 minutes on the website. Now it's after midnight on the next day. Okay, Google is now going to count that session as a new user and a new session both. So the time of day that you interact with the website can also really kind of impact your users and sessions. So And really kind of the third way that Google can track you a little bit differently is, let's say you are, you're looking up how to tie this thin mint woolly bugger, and you land on your local fly shop, you look them up on Google, you click on an ad. Let's say they've got an ad on the top of their page for certain fly patterns. And you head over to their website and you get the pattern. You get back to the office or your house, you tie up the pattern, and you run out of black chenille, let's just say, right? So you look up the fly shop, black chenille. You end up on their website because of another ad that you click. Google's also going to count that as a second session. So even though you're the same user, even if you went there 10 minutes after your original kind of time you're on the website, because you clicked on the ad and you entered the website through a second campaign, Google will now count you as a second session. So those are really kind of the three ways that you can see that variation. They don't happen very often. That's why the numbers are often fairly close. But as you kind of understand how Google's tracking your users, you can then have a better sense of what's happening on the website and really kind of what numbers you should be looking at. So as I kind of finish up this fly here, I hope that really kind of helps demonstrate what the difference is. There's really there's not really one's better than the other. They both kind of serve their purpose, and I think they're really important to kind of keep track of. Sessions is typically the one that most people look at instead of users coming on the website. So you want to kind of increase your sessions. So that's the one we kind of pay attention to the most. But really, they're both valuable pieces of information. Hopefully this clears up some of the confusion on what's what. And we'll see you next month.